Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Real World English. I'm Emma, and I'm so happy to be here with you all today.
And I'm Jake. Hey there, listeners. It's a beautiful morning here in our studio. Emma, how has your week been?
Oh, it's been really interesting, Jake. I was actually helping my cousin who recently moved here from Korea. She's been learning English for about 3 months now.
That's great. How is she doing with her English so far?
Well, that's the thing. She understands quite a lot when I speak slowly to her, but she's very hesitant to speak. She mostly nods, points at things, or uses very short answers. My aunt was getting worried that something might be wrong.
You know, that sounds completely normal to me. In fact, what you're describing is exactly what we're going to talk about today. We're exploring something called the silent period in language learning.
Yes, and our topic today is actually the silent period. Stop forcing yourself to speak. I think this is going to be so helpful for our listeners who are learning English or any other language.
Absolutely. And I think it's a topic that isn't discussed enough. Many language learners feel pressure to speak right away, but research shows that's not always the best approach.
Let's start by explaining what the silent period actually is. The silent period is a natural stage in language acquisition where learners focus on listening and understanding before they start speaking the new language.
That's right. It was first identified by linguist Stephen Krashen, who observed that most language learners go through this phase. During this time, they're absorbing vocabulary, sounds, and grammatical patterns of the new language.
It's like laying the foundation before building the house. You need to have that strong base of understanding before you can start constructing sentences of your own.
Great analogy. And the length of this period varies from person to person. For some, it might last a few weeks, while for others, it could be several months or even up to a year.
But Jake, I think many language teachers and apps push people to speak from day one. Is that approach harmful?
Not necessarily harmful, but it can create unnecessary stress and anxiety. When learners are forced to produce language before they're ready, it can raise what Krashen calls the affective filter, basically emotional barriers that make learning more difficult.
I've definitely experienced that. When I was learning Spanish, my teacher would call on me to speak in front of the class, and I would freeze up completely, even though I understood the material.
Many of our listeners probably relate to that feeling. Let's do a little role play to demonstrate the benefits of embracing the silent period instead of fighting against it.
Great idea. Let's imagine I'm Sarah, a new English learner who's been studying for 2 months, and you're the teacher, Mr. Johnson.
Okay, Sarah. I want you to describe your weekend activities to the class. Everyone is waiting.
Sorry, I not speak good.
Try again. You need to practice speaking to improve. Tell us what you did on the weekend.
Sorry, I not know words.
Okay, let's stop there. Did you notice how Sarah's anxiety increased when she was put on the spot?
Yes, and unfortunately, this is a common scenario in many language classrooms. Now let's show a better approach that respects the silent period.
Sarah, I noticed you understood our reading about weekend activities. Would you like to draw a picture of what you did this weekend instead?
Yes, teacher, I can draw.
This is a wonderful drawing, Sarah. I see you went to the park with your dog. It looks like you had a beautiful day. Did you have fun?
Yes, fun. Park nice.
Great. Thank you for sharing your drawing with us. Maybe next week you can add one more sentence if you feel ready.
So in this second scenario, the teacher respected Sarah's silent period by not forcing her to speak in complete sentences, by providing alternative ways to communicate, by building on her current language level, and by giving her positive reinforcement.
Exactly. And did you notice how Sarah actually spoke a few words voluntarily when she felt safe and supported? That's how natural language production begins, when the learner feels ready.
There's actually scientific research backing this approach. Studies show that during the silent period, the brain is actively processing and organizing the new language, creating neural pathways that will later support speaking.
The research also shows that children who are allowed to go through a silent period when learning a second language often develop better pronunciation and more natural speech patterns than those who are pushed to speak immediately.
So, for our listeners who are learning English, what are some practical tips for embracing the silent period?
Great question, Emma. First, give yourself permission to listen without pressure to speak. Focus on consuming content in English, podcasts like ours, TV shows, movies, or books.
Yes, and when you do feel ready to start speaking, start small. Maybe just repeat phrases you hear or practice with one supportive friend or family member.
Another tip is to use nonverbal communication, like in our role play. Drawing, pointing, or even using translation apps can help you communicate while your speaking skills are developing.
And remember, everyone's language journey is different. Some people have a very short silent period, while others need more time. Both are completely normal.
I think it's also important to find environments where your silent period is respected. If you're taking language classes, look for teachers who understand this concept and don't force early production.
Let me share a personal story. My friend Miguel moved here from Mexico and barely spoke for his first 4 months. His coworkers were worried he wasn't learning English, but he was listening to everything: radio, conversations, TV shows, books.
And what happened after those 4 months?
One day, he just started speaking in complete sentences. Not perfectly, of course, but with surprising fluency. He had absorbed so much during his silent period that when he finally felt ready to speak, he had a solid foundation to build on.
That's exactly what the research shows. The silent period isn't wasted time. It's valuable brain processing time.
For parents or listeners, it's especially important to respect children's silent period when they're learning a new language. Kids often need this time even more than adults.
Absolutely. Research shows that children in bilingual environments can have silent periods lasting 6 months or longer, and this is completely normal and healthy.
So to summarize, the silent period is 1. A natural stage in language learning, 2. Different in length for each person, 3. An active time when your brain is processing the language, and 4. Something to be respected, not rushed.
And forcing someone to speak before they're ready can increase anxiety, raise the affective filter, actually slow down overall language progress, and create negative associations with the language.
We hope this episode helps our listeners understand and embrace the silent period in their language journey. Remember, it's okay to take your time and listen before you speak.
And for those of you teaching or supporting language learners, we hope this encourages you to create safe spaces where silent periods are respected and valued.
Before we wrap up today's episode, we'd love to hear from you, our wonderful listeners. Have you experienced a silent period in your language learning journey? How long did it last? And what helped you finally feel comfortable speaking?
Yes, please share your experiences in the comments section of our podcast. Or if you have questions about today's topic, we'd be happy to address them in a future episode.
You can also suggest other language learning topics you'd like us to discuss. Your feedback helps us create content that's truly helpful for our real-world English community.
That's all for today's episode. Remember, there's power in silence, especially when you're learning a new language.
Thank you so much for listening. This is Emma.
And Jake, signing off. See you next time on Real World English.
Bye, everyone. Keep listening, and when you're ready, keep speaking.